Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tammy. I own a small bath and body company called Walnut Creek Bath Boutique, and today I am starting my new venture in candle making. If you haven't seen my previous video about my process or why I'm doing this now and everything like that, I'll link that above so you can go check that out. But I'm just going to dive right in. So I have chosen two waxes that I am going to test to see which one I feel better working with, which one I kind of like better. I know I probably should have just stuck with one, but I couldn't decide between the two. So I just bought a 5-pound bag of both so I could kind of get a feel for it. After this 5 pounds is gone, I will have a decision and I will use that wax for my candle line for now. So guys, I know waxes can be quite a, how do I say this? Controversial, or everybody has an opinion, right? Everybody has an opinion on their wax. So I would just ask you, please don't give me any advice on wax. I mean, I love your advice. You guys are awesome. But like I said in my previous video, I'm really struggling trying to narrow this down, and the last thing I need is more people telling me what I should be doing and what works for them. I'm bringing you along for this journey, but please respect the fact that I can't take any more information on wax. Anything else is fair game. So I chose from the Flaming Candle a 5-pound bag of Nature Wax C3 in a flake form, so that's a plus right there. And then I really like my Pro Blend 650 that I use for wax starts. I'm really been happy with that Pro Blend Parasoy blend, so I chose Pro Blend 600 for containers. And both of these waxes get a lot of great reviews, so I'm just going to kind of get a feel for which one again I like to use most. This is in a block, which isn't my favorite thing to work with, but it also doesn't feel like it's super rock hard. I think I'm going to make my candles upstairs in my craft room. So the problem is down here in my basement, it is cold most of the time, all year long. Right now it is super warm at 66. It's hardly ever this warm down here. I did bump up the heat a little bit, but I like this room to stay cold because all my oils and butters and raw materials are in a cold environment. If they're in a dark environment, a lot of my creams that I make, they're on the shelf in a cold, dark environment. I like that part of being in the basement, but I think for candles, I think it's kind of important that they cool slowly and they're not like poured really in a cold environment, I think. So all of the making is going to be upstairs. So guys, I have way too many wicks probably. You know, I went on boat. I always forget to turn my phone down or off. Where was I? I have too many wicks. But, you know, you wick down, you wick up. So I just got a plethora of them according to what Candle Science and Flaming Candle says would be the right wick. First things first, I am going to burn my, I'm going to do the 100% soy first because it takes so long to cure. So I'm going to get that done maybe tonight. And I have 5 different sizes. I have Eco. And then I also got Premier Wicks from Flaming Candle. Too many to probably start with. I don't want to overwhelm myself. When I did this before, I overwhelmed myself with having too many candles burning at the same time, and it was just really hard for me to, I think I was just simply overwhelmed. So I'm just going to do the 5. And I'm going to leave it at that for now and then kind of get a feel for which one of those wicks work best in this wax with no color, no fragrance, just wax. That's the first stage of this testing. And then maybe tomorrow I may do the slab with the same kind of philosophy of which wick goes with this wax and what has the best burn test. Hey guys, it has been a couple days since I have poured my candles, so I'm in my craft room right now, and I just thought I would give you an update on what I've done. This was 100% soy. It says to cool as slow as possible, so I poured them in the box of what the tumblers came in. I poured them, and they've been sitting in here ever since yesterday. I haven't taken them out. I have my painter's tape with the wax and the wick on the jar, so I know exactly what I have there. First impressions on the C3 is it's a very smooth top. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It poured nicely. Okay, so I like that it's flake. I like that it was easy to get in the pot. The melting of it was weird. It was like on the sides of my pitcher and didn't seem to want to melt off of that very easily, and I had to take my stir spoon and like bring wax up to melt it off the sides of the pitcher. I thought that was kind of weird. I've never had to do that before. What I didn't care for on the C3 were like the rules, right? So it said to heat to 130 to 190, pour at 120 to 165 degrees. That is huge amount of leeway there. That's some people would really like that because there's a lot of leeway for you to do what you want to do, and you don't have to be so like, oh, it's 175, I gotta pour. I'm kind of the opposite. I like to have the rules. I feel like when there's more defined rules, then if something doesn't turn out, it's not because of that. Like the other wax was pouring from 160 to 170. That's a clear guideline. So if I pour between 160 and 170 and I have an issue, then I know that's not the problem. But with such a huge heat to 130, if I heat it to 135 and poured it right away, is that the issue that I'm having? Because or would I have to test again and heat to 165 or 190 and pour at 120? It just seems like there's such this wide range, and I just feel like I don't like that. I want to know that my heat to temperature and my pour temperature is, and I know these are suggestions, right? So I know that I could heat a little lower or pour a little lower and I can have different results. But at least for me starting out, I like knowing where I heat to, where I pour at, and that's not a consideration for any problems I may have. So that was a big one for me. I did not read that when I bought this wax. I didn't read anything about that. And I was like, when I read that this weekend, oh, I didn't like it, guys. So I don't know about this. I don't know about that one because I like this. This is heat to 170 to 185. You pour from 160 to 170. I like that parameter, I guess. And so I'm already leaning towards the Parasoy. Just for that reason at this moment. The block wasn't as hard as I thought it would be to cut, so it was really not that big of a deal to have that block and just kind of take a knife. I didn't have to use my wimpy muscles or anything. So I did 5 tests of the soy, and I did 7 wicks for the Parasoy. I will be burning these on Tuesday. I'm going to have to wait a couple weeks before I can burn the soy, which is another reason is like I'm leaning towards the Parasoy. I'm not the most patient person in the world. And so for the next video, we're going to go through all the burn tests, and hopefully by the end of that video, I will have my go-to wax and my go-to wick for that wax. And then we're going to move on to the fun stuff, and I'll be testing the fragrance oils with the wicks that I choose, whether it's this, and I don't mean the size, I mean the brand, whether it's the Eco, the CD, or the Premier. I have 3 different wicks I'm testing. So thanks for watching. I so much appreciate you guys. I appreciate the time you give me and all the likes and subscribes and the comments. So thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.